South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. Every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White. We're all here. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
A lot of different sports today.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to. 100 days till the NFL season starts. So we'll take a look at opening night and a few other premium week ones tonight. So we'll get to that about 10:45, 10:40 in that pocket there today for NFL-related talk. But let's just get into it. Let's get into these playoffs, some WNBA, some baseball as well. And we begin in hockey. The Carolina National nightmare is over after 15 consecutive conference final losses over 4 appearances. Actually, a great defensive performance, more so than anything last night from Carolina. Yeah, Florida ended up missing 3 pieces, including Sam Bennett last night, but in the end, Carolina still had to execute, and they did. They get on the board. It's 3-1. Freddie Anderson with 20 saves. Bobrovsky played well. 2 of those 3 were empty net goals for Carolina. So we get to talk about a Game 5 tomorrow, which we'll do on the show. But, Alex, we get an extra day out of this series at least now.
Yeah, and, it is good for them to get that win that has been very hard for them. And that was the first time really in this series that I could say, wow, this team can skate with the Panthers. They looked really good. Still only 1 pass Bobrovsky besides the second one that was called back. So we'll see. Maybe they can extend it another game or so, but I still think the Panthers have proven that they're the better team right now in this series.
Yeah, that's a lot on your back when you've lost that many in a row, that you've just got so much pride. And Anderson was benched in Game 3. He's got pride, and he wanted to play better, and Carolina stepped up. We saw Florida last year go up 3-0 and let up against Edmonton a little bit, and then ended up going 7 games. Could this one do that? I don't know. I doubt it, because they would hate to go back to Carolina again. But Game 5 should be very interesting.
Break it down on the show tomorrow, but we do have a Game 4 tonight. North of the border, Edmonton and Dallas. Oilers, since that dreadful third period in Game 1, where Dallas outscored them 5-0. Other than that period, they've actually dominated this series. There was 3-1 going to that third period. They win game 2, 3-0. They win game 3, 6-1. It's been one bad period so far, period, for Edmonton. Minus 55 tonight, total 6.5. Kenny, I want to start with you because went over 6.5 in game 3. You needed all the help from Edmonton. Are we going back to the well again for these Edmonton home game overs that have been unbelievable so far this postseason? Only one under in the Edmonton home game so far.
I think it was really good last year as well. Their home games went over in the playoffs. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, they're gonna skate fast. You know what you're gonna get out of the Oilers. And yeah, I went over 6.5 even money yesterday.
Unfortunately, I can't really do anything in this game side or total. I do think those numbers are correct here. Oilers minus 155 at home. That total right there, 6.5. But I mean, I can definitely make a case for the over as you are. The one thing I will say is, although it has looked very dominant for the Oilers, I mean, and that 6-1 final for Sunday, I don't really think that tells the whole story. And looking back and going period by period, I mean, the Stars, they outshot the Oilers 21-7 in that second period, got one through, so really just couldn't get past Skinner in that game. But, I mean, I do think that they are playing better than what these results say. So, slight lean to the Stars here, trying to tie this series up.
Dallas has had a nightmare on the road recently. After winning game 1 against Winnipeg, they've scored 1 goal in 3 road games. Those were Connor Hellebuck's 2 good performances in game 2 and game 5 of the previous series. They only get 1 in game 3 against Edmonton. It has been a struggle on the road again, but it's been such a weird run for Dallas, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They've been arguably the best team in the NHL up until the last 6 weeks of the regular season. They have a whole bunch of injuries, but they stumble into the postseason. They hold on to home ice. Huge dogs against Colorado. Find a way to win in 7 behind, again, Rantanen's just epic showing against his former team. Then get the 1 road game against Winnipeg, hold serve, and now, again, needing tonight. I'm staying out of this tonight completely. The one interesting thing here is this total is down to 6 here at the South Point after being 6.5. That is a very recent move. I would, Kenny, at 6 now, I would go over. I wouldn't even think twice. A push is you could go 4-2, get your money back. But it would be a lean to the over. That would be all here tonight, but it's not particularly strong on my end.
I even see 6 over 15. Kind of surprised. Circa has 6.5 under 22 still. They haven't budged. So a little bit, but so I'm not sure who is betting this under. I have no idea. But Edmonton has really been the dominant team in this series, other than one period, the third period in game 1, where there was 3 power play goals by Dallas. Now, I hope they get a couple tonight. I hope they can put a couple on the board tonight, but I know Edmonton has been able to score against Dallas. They've shown that, and I think at home with that ice and as fast as it is, I'm probably going to go back and bet a little over 6. South Point has the cheapest number, I think, right now, 6 over 15.
I do like that. And to Jeff's point, Dallas has been so feast or famine, right? They have just had a bunch of goals in one game or been shut out. And you mentioned the 2 against Hellebuck in the former series. But, I mean, they've faced 2 really good teams coming into this one to go up against Edmonton. So I do think we'll get their best effort here tonight. So now at 6, I definitely love that over here.
Looked at the over a little. We call it a slight lean on the Dallas Stars, a plus 135. Alex, a slight lean.
Yeah,
I think that's based off the way you said it. I think that's the way we'll go here. I expect Edmonton to win this series. Just a matter of, do they go up 3-1 tonight, or are you going to have to take another one in Dallas? We'll see also tomorrow. I can't wait to preview tomorrow's game with Florida and Carolina. I'm curious to see who's out for the Panthers. Really will change the handicap there. Dallas plus 270 to win this series. If you think the Stars are capable of coming back to win this Western Conference final. All right, let's shift gears here. Let's go to the NBA. Last night in Minnesota, this is pretty much locked up now for OKC. I just don't see how they lose 3 consecutive. They go back home tomorrow night. We'll give the full preview, but a super duper over in last night's game. In the end, it was the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams combo combining for 74, and Anthony Edwards only with 16. There's your difference right there. Minnesota did cover, miraculously enough, getting 3, losing by 2. But this series, and the series price pretty much tells you it. Here at the South Point, OKC is minus 6,000 now. And this is over, barring something beyond stunning at this point. It's just Oklahoma City was the best team in the NBA all year long. And after a really big test against Denver, they've really handled their business here against Minnesota.
Pretty crazy. And 35 points over that total, but a slow 92 possession pace, right? Picked up there at the end. And the only competitive game we've had so far in this series, we've had 3 blowouts, and Minnesota being the third at home to get 1 win here. But that was a competitive one. We did see the Timberwolves play their best ball, but Thunder just played even better and are better.
Not a good game for me. Horrendous game for me. I went under 219.5. I talked about the defense from these two teams and how solid defensively they are. First quarter, nobody could miss. Over 50% shooting from 3. That's, out of the norm. Against great defensive teams. So that's really even out of the norm. And then, it started, it was amazing. The second quarter started, no one missed the first 3 minutes. They scored 26 points in the first 3 minutes of the second quarter. They were on pace for almost 100-point quarter. So I went under again. I think I went under at the end of the first. I went under 230.5 after the first. And then after that run, I went under 245.5, and then they stopped scoring. They scored 22 points in 7 minutes to end the second quarter, and I said, this is more like the defense, what you're going to see. And then the third quarter started really slow, and they couldn't shoot in the third quarter, but then they started to score a little late. So it was a bad game for me because I laid 3 with OKC as well. So I had 3 bets on the under, 1 bet on OKC, and every time I looked, it was just no good in the fourth quarter. No one could miss in the game. So you just get these kind of series, and it's, for me, I should just write it off and hope it's over with after the next game, and then I can move on to the championship series. But I have no idea why 2 great defensive teams can give up that high of a shooting percentage. But it happens. There's so many flukes. 1 out of every 4 games in sports is a fluke outcome. And this series has had 3, I think, fluke outcomes.
Going to tonight, in what has been a series that has been very hard to figure, just kind of like we mostly expected going in here, Knicks and Pacers, road teams 3-0 so far in this series. Both teams have a 20-point or Knicks weren't up 20 in game 1, but 14 with 6 minutes to go, pretty much the same sort of deal. Both teams have really bad collapses in there. Pacers, of course, won both in New York. Knicks steal game 3 in Indianapolis to at least stay afloat and not have to do something that's never been done in NBA history, which would be come back from a 3-0 deficit. Tonight, Pacers are 2, totals 220.5. There is nothing to be done pre-flop in this series for me. Nothing. And I'm going to stay out of it. I'm sure there will be an opportunity where one of these teams gets down 15 points. You'll be able to take double digits with one of the 2 of them, or take 8.5 or 9.5, something in that pocket. And I would suggest you do it based off the way this series has gone so far, Alex. So staying off pre-flop. I know you hit it hard in the in-game in game 3, ended up getting everything home. That would be the only strategy I'd employ in this game.
I completely agree. Halftime jumped in, took 10.5 with the Knicks, and a little bit on the money line too. Knowing the desperation that team had to try and steal one there. So, yeah, I would just wait and see. Nothing really. I know you like the Pacers. Do you like them here, laying 2? Or are you with the in-game, too?
No, I bet the Pacers -2. I just think they're the better basketball team. I've talked about it, that I think that they're the only lineup in the entire NBA that every player was 2 points better than the average player. So they're extremely well balanced, and that's what I like about this team. And I love how they spread the court. So When I saw the score and I was out of town, I could have bet it, but I wasn't watching it. But when I saw the score, I thought this is a good time to jump in on the Knicks in game because Indiana could let up here. They've dominated. They've dominated so far. And the Knicks at that point, as Jeff said, no one's ever come back from down 0-3. You have to leave everything on the court at that point and play your best game. So my feeling is they're out of gas now. Now they're in trouble. They left everything on the court that game. Indiana now tonight will come out fast and furious. And I think that, what was surprising though is I read so many things about, when you see stuff and you shake your head and people were like, well, the Knicks have to shorten their bench and Brunson only played 37 minutes. He needs to play 45 minutes if they're going to win. When I saw they won, I said, well, let me go check how many minutes he played. Oh, he played 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be that way. You just have to play a good team game. So, but I think the Knicks are out of gas. I think they are. I hope they are. As again, I have took plus a ticket for $1.25 for the series. And then when this series started, I got plus $1.40. So this could help me get back from almost everything I lost last night if they can close this series out. And I hope so. I hope they win this game.
Kenny, I think you almost just actually made an opposite argument for running out of gas here with what you just said. With the Knicks extended their rotation for the first time in forever in Game 3.
They did.
DeLon Wright played. Landry Shamet played. They both played equivalent to a quarter. Josh Hart came off the bench. They brought Mitchell Robertson into the starting lineup. That didn't really work, but they at least changed something. And you just brought up a point with Brunson's minutes that I actually think might help the Knicks. Now, again, I'm not betting anything pre-flop. Just look in game. If the Pacers win this game by 9, it wouldn't shock me one bit. Home court, I have a hard time seeing all 4 home games being lost, but this series has been completely illogical. So anything's in play, but I wonder if Brunson has a little bit more in the tank for this game because he only played 31 minutes. He's been playing 40, 42 this whole postseason. Realistically, he was third in the NBA in minutes per game because we know Tibbs loves playing his starters. The foul trouble might have helped Brunson long-term in this series. Now, Towns, I'm curious because those were a lot of, even though the minutes were down, it was high leverage minutes in the fourth quarter where Towns scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. The reason the Knicks came back and won that game. Wonder if has a little bit less in the tank. But Brunson, I think, will be solid here tonight. But again, staying off of this pre-flop, very curious to see how it plays out. And I'm very happy to employ what Alex did in Game 3.
Well, I think I'm actually, with this conversation, looking for more of the Knicks starting hot and jumping in and trying to get at least,
Flip
2 to 4 points here with the Pacers being at home and have a little cushion there. That's the way I would try to play in game tonight.
I don't think the Knicks can beat Indiana unless Towns and Brunson both have big games. That's the only way they win, I think. If one of them are off, Indiana has too much firepower that they just can't keep up. And yeah, I made a case for them being, leaving it all on the court. I think as a team, Brunson maybe, have a little bit left. I don't think if Brunson played 48 minutes or 30 minutes tonight, I think he'd almost be the same guy. But I think it's just as the team, as a makeup, as a whole, I think they left everything on the court that night to make sure they got a win. And I think that takes a lot out of you. And I think Indiana, again, I hope they do. I hope I'm right. I hope my handicap's right. I hope my numbers are right. And I just have to stick to my process. And it says Indiana by 5.
Anything about Aaron Nesmith? Because he is game time decision. So
yeah, right now,
him to go.
So Nesmith, of course, rolled his ankle in Game 3. Still, again, right now, game time decision. That's where we're looking at. The RotoWire description is iffy. Yeah, that's a good sign if that happens to be the case for Nesmith here tonight. We'll see, but game time decision makes a lot of sense if he's able to go or not. All right, let's go to the WNBA. 5 games here on a Tuesday, Alex, and let's just start in Brooklyn. The other New York team, the Liberty, the reigning champions, are huge favorites tonight against the Golden State Valkyries. 18 tonight. Ooh. It's a huge number, guys. Total 162. Valkyries off to a surprising 2-1 start. Beat the Mystics, won in LA on Friday. But this is a different animal against the defending champs here, Alex.
It is. And just kind of going back, because we talked about the Saturday game and the fever and looking ahead to that one. And I was very impressed with what we saw from Indiana and how they did hold their own, especially that third quarter, to keep that game very close against the Liberty. So just kind of to that point with us saying that they were one of the top teams now, I think they definitely showed that on Saturday. I can't do anything here. I do think that Liberty should be this big of a favorite here at home.
It just shows you that, the other night there was 3 huge favorites, and all 3 were trailing at one point. 2 of them barely got by. Minnesota barely got by, and I think it was the Vegas Aces that got by. Mm-hmm. But Los Angeles didn't, and that happens in sports, and that's why we play the games. But this Golden State team is them in Connecticut. They're 2 teams that probably won't win more than 10 games this year, and Golden State got off to a good start. Just another one of those games, though. Liberty can name the score in this one. They can put up whatever they want here. If they want to win by 30, they can win by 30. If they want to look ahead or let down from the Indiana game, they can win by 10. So it's a tough one to handicap on the side. I did bet the game under, and I bet it under yesterday. They put up 168, and I was just very surprised. It could get to 168 if the Liberty score 100 tonight. But other than that, I don't think it gets that high.
162.5 your total here. Liberty of 90-88 on Saturday. The game against the Sky went well over as well. It's just a matter of for the Valkyrie. This is by far the best team they have seen. I just wonder if this is just a wipeout. Maybe this is a first half New York play. Just again, travel for the Valkyrie, Liberty back home. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a letdown, but this is just such a huge talent gap between the expansion team and the defending champions. 18. You can get 17 on this game, by the way. So shop. There's a little bit of a difference in the market on this game. All right, we go to Mohegan Sun next. Dallas and Connecticut. Sun looking for their first win of the year, and the Wings are also looking for their first win of the year. So someone's going to get out of here at 1-4. The other one's going to be 0-5. Page Beckers and Dallas are 4.5-point favorites in a return to the state of Connecticut here tonight. Total 163.5, Alex.
This is one that the only one I circled so far with the WNBA for today, but it does make me a little bit nervous here. I don't want to go against this team. They're betting it over. It opened 3 points lower than this, now at 163.5. I like the under. Connecticut wants to play at a slower pace. I know the Wings want to speed it up a little bit, but neither of these teams great in their shooting percentage as of right now to start the year. I just think we're going to get a great defensive effort from both trying to get their first win here. So circled it. Think we're getting a little bit too high here. Looking at the under, but I don't know if I'm going to play it yet.
Yeah, very emotional game it will be with Paige Beckers going back home to Connecticut. And as bad as the Sun are, not sure who the fans will be rooting for because they love Paige Beckers. Alex hit it on that. Both these teams really shooting poorly to start the season. The Wings have been horrible. I think they're a much better shooting team than what we've seen from them so far. But do they get it going? I hope not. I made the total much lower because I don't see a high pace, but I see again the inability to score the basketball right now from both of these teams. I'm hoping it's kind of a closer game throughout the game, and I think Dallas pulls away late.
Here's what I'll say with these bottom tier teams in the WNBA. Even though Golden State is 2-1, they still are pretty clearly to me the worst team in this league. Connecticut just doesn't have doesn't have firepower at all, but they're going to play hard, even though it's a totally different team. The organization just is run the right way. Dallas is at some point this year going to look like a borderline back-end playoff team. It just hasn't happened yet. When you have a top rookie, a roster that last year underachieved greatly, at some point they're going to turn the corner. Alex, I'm with you on this total. I think this is a grinder here tonight in Connecticut. I would only look to the under, which also leads me to the underdog as well. Just taking 4.5 on this one. It's weird. This is probably the second weakest game on this card, but this is the most bettable by margin here tonight in the W. Let's go to Minnesota next. Storm take on the Lynx. Seattle really put it on Vegas over the weekend. A 20-point win for the Storm up at Climate Pledge. They're 3-1. Good start, even with Jewel Lloyd, the Jewel Lloyd trade in the offseason. Minnesota, the defending runner-ups, they're 4-0. The Lynx are 7.5. 156.5. Low-key good game here, Alex, with how well the Storm have played to begin this season.
Really, both these teams, of course, we expected it from Minnesota, but the Storm, they're just a very good shooting team right now. They're 4th in field goal shooting percentage, and I can definitely understand that they were last year as well. It didn't gel fast enough for them last year, but I think we're getting a little bit too high here with the Lynx. I do think this will be a competitive game, so 7.5 is a little steep, but I mean, undefeated. I think you're going to try and keep that going here. So nothing definite, but a lean to the points here.
Yeah, does Seattle have a letdown after that big win over the Aces? I think that's, a question. They're a really good basketball team. I think they put together up there, and they should be challenging for the West. I really believe that. I think they can improve throughout the year to get to that point. Minnesota's still the class in this game, the better team, and at home. I thought they made the right favorite here in the game. A little bit of lean to the over, but don't want to bet it over, that's for sure, with these two teams. But I am afraid of a letdown. Alana Smith playing with I think she had a knee injury, and she played really poorly in the next to last game. I think she had foul trouble, but She's a key piece to this basketball team, and they need to get McBride back as well. Minnesota can only get healthier and get better. So I'm going to pass here on this one. I think both numbers are pretty good, the side and the total.
Let's go to L.A. next. Dream and Sparks. No Griner tonight for Atlanta. Kelsey Plum, as the number one scoring option on a team, is going to put up some great numbers this year, Alex. Already off to a great start. A huge game for Plum in their win against Chicago on Sunday, a 28-point outburst, 8 assists to go along with it. Alex, this total is 161.5. LA's a 2.5-point favorite at home. I'm just going to keep betting overs in Spark games. I don't like their defense, and their offense is only going to get better as the pieces around Plum get more comfortable playing with her. At some point, Brink is going to come back as well this year. I just like this offense, and I do not like their defense one bit. I like over at 161.5. That would be the only look for me in this game.
Wow. So Brittany Griner did miss Sunday as well, and still the Dream 79-55 win over Connecticut. So this Atlanta team is playing really well. That does make me nervous, though. Now her second game out, she's such a huge piece of this team. I don't hate that I don't hate that over at all. I do think there will be points scored here right now. Atlanta's playing at the 5th fastest pace, and 161.5. What did you make this one? You're over 2 as well?
Yeah, I'm over 2 as well, but I'm all over LA in this game without Griner, and their point guard Canada didn't play as well. I think both are big drop-offs. I think it was a game that everyone, next gal up, fallen champ down, and everybody played really well. This team shot the basketball well. They played defense. And it may not have just been their defense. This might have been Connecticut just couldn't make a shot. Effective field goal percentage, 34%, one of the worst I've ever seen in a game. This team was 21 for 67 from the field, 4 for 15 from three-point range. They were even bad from the free throw line, 9 for 14 to 64%. So Atlanta got a bad team. Now they got to travel to L.A. to face a team that's scoring and can score and goes up and down. Atlanta wants to run, so I think it'll be a fast-paced game. And I bet the Sparks laid pick yesterday. Found that when I found out Griner was out. Didn't know Canada was out. I'm happy about that because I even made the game higher now. And I went over 161.5 with you guys.
One last one here in the WNBA card. Chicago at Phoenix. Mercury are 6.5, 158.5. Sky still looking for their first win, and they have just really struggled across the board to begin this season. Now, look, you're playing Indiana, you're playing New York in their first 2 games. It's arguably with a healthy Caitlin Clark. Of course, Clark is going to miss at least 2 weeks with that leg muscle strain. At least 2 weeks, could be longer. But this team's defense has really been awful to begin the year, Alex. And Phoenix is a team that I think has a lot of talent. They're 3-1, off to a good start. I'm surprised this didn't come a little heavier here on this number, Alex.
Man, yeah, Chicago definitely struggling. Really, I mean, talking about shooting percentage, they are 12th in field goals and 10th from the 3-point line. So they are really struggling, not only defensively, offensively as well. 12th with assists. Courtney Vandersloot kind of just out there by herself. But let me see number wise. Yeah, I think that's about right with Phoenix at home here. Lean to the under though. I think that's a little bit too high for these two teams.
I bet Phoenix in the game. There's a lot of problems in the Chicago locker room, a lot of turnovers. This is just a team that's not playing together. There's going to be a trade pretty soon. It's either going to be Angel Reese and she's out, and if they can find a fit for her and they can pick up some draft picks, or it's I believe maybe it was Cardoza that they can't stand each other. So those women want to be apart, and there's problems there, and we've seen it to start the season. So I'm again, it's like the Oilers over at home. I'm going to back the Sky till they or fade the Sky until they figure it out.
Both drafted last year in the first round for Chicago. Very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of head shaking, I guess, at each other when they do something. And Angel Reese, I guess, has been really selfish with the basketball and not passing to some teammates that are open and kind of forcing a lot of shots as well. So not a lot of people happy in Chicago right now with the women's basketball team.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, trivia question in the bottom, baseball, some football later as well. Full card of Major League Baseball, including a good one in the NL East that will start our baseball look on a Tuesday morning right here, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White. Happy to be with you here on a Tuesday, final Tuesday of May. We'll be next week we'll be fully into June, as crazy as that is. But we got baseball. I'm a little over 2 months in, and we're going to start right here. Ticker trivia is live right now. Where did Vince go today with the trivia question? Oh! Right at Brian McCormick's alley. Let's just go with that. All right, let's go to Philadelphia first. This is an important series. The Phillies, who are just playing out of their minds right now. They finally had that 9-game win streak snapped with a loss in Sacramento to the A's on Sunday. They get Atlanta, who, look, at some point, I expect the Braves to go on a move. Acuna's back. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Padres over the weekend. They're 8.5 games behind Philadelphia. They're 7 behind the Mets for second in this division. Now, this Atlanta core is no stranger to making up big deficits. They did it 2 years ago. Granted, it took them playing about 700 ball for 2.5 months in order to do it, but they send Spencer Strider to the bump at Citizens Bank tonight. Ranger Suarez goes for Philly, -20 on the Phils, 8.5 the total at Citizens Bank here tonight.
Really good matchup here. First series for these two. Like Jeff said, very important one here. Strider struggled a little bit in his 2 starts, but I do expect him to have a good outing here. This is really tough to bet because I think the numbers that the bookmakers put out are just right side and total. So I feel like if you're making a bet on this, it would have to be more off a feel for these two teams. I can't argue with you. I am at that point now. I do expect the Braves to start to make a run here. I'm a little concerned with the Phillies, kind of fat and happy, coming off a very easy series, and now they've got a tough matchup here with the Braves, but really couldn't find anything total or sidewise.
Real quick, Kenny, on the Phillies, they did their last 3 series were Pittsburgh, Colorado, and the geography-less A's at this point. So I just wonder, this is the series before that, they lost 2 out of 3 to St. Louis, right in the middle of their mix. This is a big step up again for the Phillies, who again have the best record in Major League Baseball right now, but in part because of that 9-1 heater against the bottom tier teams.
And that happens, you need to beat those teams. If you're one of the better teams, you have to beat the bad teams, and but that distorts numbers. You're right, sometimes, and this is a big game for the Braves. Now, as Alex said, there's really not much there. I made the Phillies 105 in this game, and I'm not giving Strider his full rating yet, even though I gave him a really good rating. I gave him a 35 cents above average pitcher on the road, which is really good. Normally he's about 55, 60 cents better than the average guy on the road. So I took 25 cents off basically. And I'm not giving Suarez his best number because he's only thrown 24 innings so far in this season. So both guys nowhere near midseason form. But I did bet this game this morning. I saw 106, laid 106 on the game for a 0.5% bet because it didn't correspond with my numbers, but to me, I just felt like Philadelphia's playing better. And Jeff, you said, when's it going to happen? The Braves are going to make the run.
Yeah.
And maybe it's when they play Pittsburgh, Colorado, and the homeless Athletics, and they get teams like that they can beat up on. So look at the Braves schedule, and over the next couple of weeks, if they've got a really nice, easy schedule, it'll be a nice time to start back in the Braves because they will turn it on. And getting Acuna back's major. Strider's going to be back in form in a couple starts, so they'll look like the Atlanta Braves we're used to soon.
Moving along, next up, we go to Chicago. Speaking of those Colorado Rockies, yesterday, a low-scoring game at Wrigley. Cubs win 3-1. Rockies just continue to be abysmal. Cubs are -340 at the friendly confines tonight with Horton, Marquez on the other end, 7.5. Again, another low total. Weather not great in Chicago here again.
Yeah, question for you with the weather. And it was blowing in. We said about 10 miles per hour, I believe, maybe up to 13. But tried to go with the Cubs team total over 4.5. Did not get there. They won 3-1. Here's another one I would love to go against both pitchers here and expect some runs from the lineups, especially the Cubs here. But how much should we really take into with the weather? And I know we're usually looking for 20 miles per hour or over for it really make a difference. Is it different here in Chicago? I'm
any over 15 is good. Anywhere around 10 miles an hour is not going to do a lot. It may knock 5 to 10 feet off a long fly ball, but you want 15 to 20 in that range. It is tonight that, it's not, the temperature is not going to bother these guys at 50, 59 degrees. To start the game, the wind will be in from left center field, 10 to 15 miles an hour in that range, but it is going to die down. So I only took a runoff. I made it 9 without any weather. I did take a runoff. I made it 8. This Colorado Rockies team, I am, baseball's a business, and I think it's bad for baseball to have teams this bad. It's the White Sox and Rockies should not be this bad. And the problem is these organizations will make as much money this year, whether they win 19 games or 80 games and miss the playoffs either way. So it's just not good for the sport, but it is what it is. And it's, I could only make the game $2 as bad as the Rockies are. If they have a shot to win, maybe it's Marquez finally wakes up and becomes the guy he used to. They keep running him out there. So I'm wondering, is he going to do something or not? I've still got a really low rating on him, but I don't have a high rating on Kate Horton either. I think maybe I should look back at him, but I'm just going to pass the game. Two bad teams, all that for nothing. Jeff.
The pitchers, again, for Colorado, just been a nightmare through the whole year. And again, the veteran Marquez has been one of them. Him, Sanzatelli is looking to go against him any point. Let's go to Arizona. Excuse me. Burns and Burrows here. Diamondbacks, big favorites, minus 250, Alex.
Really want to back Corbin Burns here in this one to pitch well against the Pirates. I just can't get there. Minus 250, even laying a run and a half with the home team here. You still got to lay minus 120. So I know Burns has been a little up and down, but looking at his last 5 starts, I mean, really coming off of his worst one, and it was the second time the Dodgers had seen him. So 0 earned runs against Colorado and the Dodgers the first time, and then 1 against the Mets and Tampa Bay. So he's pitching really well right now, and I think that's the way I would try to play it. Maybe try to go Pirates team total under. Did get there yesterday, even though I was leaning to the Pirates in that one.
I think Diamondback's the best way to look at it because Burns is pitching so well. Is go first 5 innings, lay a half a run, you get the 5 innings of at bats, and you're not getting gypped 3 outs. So I think that's the good spot. They got off the losing streak yesterday with a win. Maybe that helps them out today. Pittsburgh, a team that's been struggling all year, and especially on the road, just 6-20. They're another team maybe to fade when they get outside of Pittsburgh, or just fade when they don't have the race on the mound.
Arizona's not playing well right now. That's the only concern. Even though, again, these bottom tier teams, and you mentioned it, that the Pirates are in the same category as the White Sox at the current moment because of their offense. Orioles, surprisingly enough, again, the Diamondbacks 5-0 win yesterday looked to make it 2 in a row against the Pirates. We go to San Diego next. Marlins and Padres. Padres had to come from behind last night to win 4-3. They won it in 11. So that was a lucky winner for me last night. I did not have the right side. And again, they're minus 155 tonight. Meyer and Kolek. Meyer, after a blistering start, has come back to earth a little bit. Total 7.5. I still think this is a little bit cheap, even with a bottom tier starter for San Diego. Just the Marlins, even with potentially an even starting matchup, maybe even a slight advantage. That Fish bullpen is still not any good. I like having an opportunity to go against them.
It is a little cheap for your numbers. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, I'm surprised. You said it's down to $1.55, Jeff?
That's what it is.
Money for, I saw $1.75 earlier this morning, 7 a.m. So I made it 207. I agree with you. Far better offensive team. Kolek has given them some good innings. He's pitched well, but the bullpen is a gigantic advantage for the Padres in this game, and that's why I would have to go the full 9, and I would just lay the $1.55. Kind of my limit. I don't really want to lay anything more than that in a regular season baseball game. If there was a playoff game, Padres would probably be minus 220 in this spot, but it's a regular season game. But I'll bet the Padres. They got me hooked.
I really wish I could get an 8 here. I would like to just go under full game. I still believe in Max Meyer. I know that he has pitched better at home in some of his road starts, but I like what I saw out of him the last outing, 6 innings, and gave up just 1 earned runs on 5 hits to the Cubs, and we know that is one of the best lineups in baseball. The Padres are not hitting right now, so they can't even be considered one of the best lineups in baseball. I think he'll do good here. So 7.5, lean to the under there at even money. I would like to just find an 8 if I could.
Maybe we'll get one closer to first pitch. There are some away offshore that are available. I mean, minus 120 might get there.
Yeah.
We get to 8 by the time that game goes in San Diego. All right, the Tampa Twins, Rays, Ryan and Bradley. Your pitching matchup, Tampa with a blowout victory of 7-2 yesterday. A total of 8.5, and the Minnesota Twins, a small road favorite here at minus 120.
Pretty impressive. The Rays come into this one, a 5-game winning streak. Got to add that in here, but I really want to find a way to back Joe Ryan. Just so impressed with him and the year that he is having. And I mean, really, he's been pretty solid through his career. So looking at the numbers, though, the Twins, they're minus 125 in the first 5. Don't want to lay the half if we're, not getting those extra outs there. So I guess that's the best way to play it. Minus 125 first 5 for the Twins here. Rays have a little bit of a bullpen advantage, so just get in and out there. I think that's a pretty good number.
So I made a mistake this morning. I forgot to copy the streaks and update the streaks.
So that's from yesterday.
These are yesterday's numbers on the sheet for the streaks going into yesterday. So they now have a 6-game winning streak.
6-game winning streak.
They're playing well. So I need to update that after the show and send it out to all my clients. That was a big mistake. That's the first time I've done that this year.
Pretty good, 27.
This Tampa team is swinging the bats finally. They are finally swinging the bats. They're the hottest team in baseball right now in the last 7 days. Well, I guess the Cubs are, but Tampa's number 2. So their numbers have been really good. I like what I see out of Taj Bradley, but Tampa's now up against Joe Ryan. The problem is in a game like this, we're talking about Tampa. It's very warm there. Ball should really carry. My numbers say bet the game over, and with the adjustment, thank goodness, with the Tampa winning streak, it says stay off the side. But my numbers and the weather say bet it over.
That ballpark, we were talking about a little bit yesterday, actually, Kenny. That ballpark, wind has played a bigger role than we expected. It played a monster role over the weekend and last week when it was blowing in and balls were getting batted down by the wind to the tune of maybe 20 to 30, 40 feet at times. So, but the Rays playing great. And as we mentioned, getting back into the mixer and second by themselves in the AL East entering today's action. Speaking of another AL East team, Bowden Francis and the Blue Jays on the road in Texas to take on the Rangers. 2-1 winner for Toronto last night, another low-scoring game. Teams just don't score for Jacob deGrom. It's just all it is for his whole career. Nathan Eovaldi's $1.35, total of 8. Alex, this feels like a really good price on Eovaldi at home. Just a matter of Texas. Texas offense is in the doldrums right now, just not producing, especially a team with as much talent as they have offensively speaking.
I think Seager's coming back again, though, for them, so maybe that helps him out. But you're right. In the last 7, 187, team batting average, 251 OBP, and 62 WRC+. plus. I do trust Nathan Eovaldi to throw a good game here, though, so it would only be under for me. Maybe look at the first 5 under. I thought I wrote that down already, but I guess I missed that one. But the way, you would expect the team to hit off of Bowden Francis, but the way the Rangers are swinging the bats, I don't have that much faith in them. So, yeah, I think first 5 under would be the best bet here.
Yeah, Francis pitched a little better his last outing. He only made it 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. That was one of his better outings of the year. So he scares me a little bit. But Eovaldi, we know what we're going to get. He's been in fuego all year. Hitters hitting 136 in his last 3 starts. The Rangers, you're right. The way they're swinging it, just not swinging it. And maybe Francis can get back to form what he showed a lot last year and who he was. So I do like the first 5 under in this spot.
Giving us 4.5 here.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Yeah.
Good number on that 4.5 here today with Eovaldi and Bowden Francis in Texas. We go to Houston next. Hunter Brown, who has been spectacular so far this year for Houston, is a huge favorite against the A's. Minus 230 on Hunter Brown and the Astros, plus 195 on Sears and the A's on a take-back, total of 8 in the Big H here today, Alex.
Now, this one is a little scary because looking at the numbers and the offenses, these two are both hitting very well right now. I love the Astros at home even more, though, so I will back Hunter Brown and the home team here. I like first 5. I can't lay that minus 215. I got to lay half a run. Best number I saw was minus 145 here with Houston.
They're both swinging it, but we got two really good pitchers on the mound. I tell you, JP Sears, he's just had some bad luck and guys that he's going up against. He's gone up against some of the better pitchers in baseball over his last 3 or 4 starts. So I think you get a really good game out of him. Love his command. Thought he's been, spotting up really well. Looking at his game logs, for the last 5 outings, he's allowed 1 walk or less. And 3 of the last 5, he didn't walk a guy. So I like guys that attack the zone. And we know that Hunter Brown is definitely attacking the zone. His median start on the year, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. The guy's got great stuff and hard to hit. One of the lowest exit velocity rates of the day of any of the pitchers with a lot of innings is Hunter Brown. So even as well as these teams have been hitting, I always like to give the advantage to the pitchers if they're better.
Let's go to the Yankees and the Angels next. Yankees win 5-1. Angels, again, 3 straight losses after their big winning streak. They're big dogs at home. It's Anderson and Rodon. Anderson, arguably Angels' best pitcher. It's a plus 180 dog here with a total of 9. Yesterday's giant total went well under yesterday, Alex. Just surprising to see a double digit at Angel Stadium, back to a more normal 9 here tonight.
It'll be really interesting, this on 2 lefties on the mound. Angels, during their hot streak, I was looking back, and really just J.P. Spears was the only lefty starter that they really had to face. So I'm curious to see how they do here. I do lean towards Rodon and backing the Yankees against the Angels here now that they've kind of come back down to life, or come back down to earth. Best number I saw, Yankees. I mean, geez, it's pretty brutal. Minus 190 for the first 5. If you want to lay a half, minus 130, and then, or just minus or under 4.5 for the first 5 full game.
I like these 2 lefties, and Rodon starting to look like the guy that, they talked about for years as a Cy Young Award winner. He has really pitched much better over the last 3 outings. Hitters are hitting 108 against him. I think he can dominate this Angels lineup, and I think Tyler Anderson has to step up and keep his team close. He's due for a good game. He has not pitched well over his last 3.
Nope.
So I'm going to go under first 5 here as well. The weather's 68 degrees. It is going to warm up in Los Angeles this week. During the week, I think it's going to hit in the high 80s in LA. So look for that. If there's any day games there, the ball could really carry.
Yeah, later this week, you're going to get a little bit hotter, about 86 looking like, but we didn't talk about yesterday. That was part of the reason we liked the under. The weather was perfect for Memorial Day in Anaheim. Tonight, 73 at first pitch, maybe a little bit warmer, but not too bad weather-wise in Anaheim. Let's go to Cleveland next. Dustin May, Tanner Bybee, your pitching matchup, Dodgers and the Guardians. We talked about it yesterday, Alex. It was not a good double dip for Cleveland of Skubal and Yamamoto, and the Dodgers, even with traveling after a Sunday Night Baseball loss, a very comfortable 7-2 win in Cleveland. May's $1.25, total of 9 in this one, plus 10 on the Guardians take back.
Ohtani, back-to-back
Yep.
first pitch homers yesterday against Gavin Williams. So my under in that first 5 definitely flew over because the Dodgers are starting to hit again. As much as I like Tanner Bybee, and I do think he is a good pitcher, maybe even the better pitcher going today between these 2, I just can't go against this Dodgers lineup. I think they are starting to figure things out. So feels like a pretty cheap price here, minus 125 for this Dodgers team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a big advantage offensively. I don't like the Guardians' offense. I like their bullpen. That's what they do best, is their bullpen keeps you down. So this would be a game I would go first 5 innings. I'm going to bet the Dodgers here in the first 5. Dustin May is coming off a nice performance against Arizona, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. We know this guy's got great stuff, and it was going to take him a little bit, missing some time, last year, that it was going to last couple of years really for him, that he just hasn't been 100% healthy. So 9 starts now, though, 50 innings. His strikeouts are up. The walks are starting to drop. I see the velocity starting to increase as well from Dustin May. So they got a really good pitcher with him. So I like the Dodgers here. Their numbers aren't great over the last 7 days. They did have some struggles, but again, you're right. They started to hit a little bit yesterday. So maybe that helps get them going again. Hope Ohtani can hit another one. 3 games in a row, first pitch.
Going to Baltimore next. Orioles, red hot. 3 straight wins for the Orioles, who are now a hearty 19-34 on the season. Still a lot of work to be done if they're going to be any sort of legitimate. Cardinals, again, kind of what we've talked about with St. Louis. Now the second most home wins in the NL after the Mets won yesterday to get home win number 20. But 11-16 away from Busch Stadium. We've talked about it. The home road splits have not been kind to St. Louis, even though they've gotten kinder over the last few weeks. Cardinals small favorite today with Palante Sergano on the other side. Minus 9 on the total. This is a total stay off just because I just don't trust St. Louis away from home right now, Alex.
No, and it pretty much is a pick'em game here between these two. Sergano has thrown well in his last 6 outings. I mean, just one time did he give up 4 to the Twins. Other than that, I mean, a lot of 1s and 2s. On the other side, Palante, pretty much know what you're going to get from him. I mean, 7 innings he's gone in 2 of his last 3, just 2 earned runs, and did give up 3 to the Tigers, who is a really good lineup there. So, yeah, this is a tough handicap. I think those numbers are just right all around.
Yeah, Baltimore are starting to play better. And Sagano, maybe, one of their top guys. I like what I've seen out of him so far. Not a big strikeout guy, but he does throw strikes. He does attack hitters, and he's pitched well for the Orioles, one of their bright spots the earliest part of the season. And we knew sooner or later they were going to turn it around. This could be a good spot for them again. I think they should be the favorite here. I've knocked them maybe a little bit too much. If I would upgrade them to where I started the season, I definitely have a play here, laying a cheap price with a team that may have turned it around. So I'm going to bet the Orioles today.
And somebody did ask that if Baltimore could keep it going with their 3-game win streak.
That was Moises who asked that in the chat. Dean's on the Cardinals, so he does not think that they will be able to push it to 4. All right, let's go to Detroit. This Logan Webb was coming off his worst start of the year, taking on Jack Flaherty, who's been inconsistent in his return to Motown. Tigers won the opener yesterday on Memorial Day. Minus 15 on Webb, 7.5 the total. 4 is the first 5. It's minus 30 on that 4. Still think that's probably fine going under 4 first 5. Again, this feels like a nice bounce back for Webb, who just got bombarded by Kansas City last week at Oracle.
And it was a day game, and I did look back, and he does have quite a split there for day and night games. So I love this bounce back spot for Logan Webb. I am under 4. I actually found minus 125 as the best number out there. But last week we talked about Flaherty too, and you said he's been very unlucky. So I think this could be a good spot for him as well. Giants 14-14 on the road this year, and they don't hit as well as they do in San Francisco. So 2 really good pitchers. I think this is my favorite bet of the day.
Yeah, Flaherty's pitched a little better, and I said he was unlucky because he's pounding the strike zone. Low walk number, high strikeout number, and his numbers, his walk number, three walks per 9 innings, a little high for him, but that was because of his first 4 starts of the season. He has been much better, around 2 walks per 9 innings the last 6. And that's what I want to see. I want to see the guy that's going to go out there and throw strikes. That day that Logan Webb gave up the big number to Kansas City, it was a little warmer. The wind was blowing straight out to center field, 20 miles an hour. And, a couple balls that are hit that would normally be outs carried a little further than outfielders thought. And it turned into a big inning against Webb. So I think he bounces back. I like the game. I'm going to go under the first 5 with these guys.
Moving along, next up, we go to New York. Mets walked off the White Sox yesterday in a low-scoring game. Your first five White Sox was easy, Alex. Minus 260 on Tyler McGill today. This is total. There's 8s and 7.5s in the market on this game. Alex, any thoughts on this one? Mets look to make it 2 in a row against Chicago.
No, nothing really here. I would like to back McGill. I like how he has pitched so far this year. A couple rough ones in there, but most are mostly on the road. So back here at home, I think he'll have a great outing. I really under first 5 was the better bet in that one. That that got there. But if you're going to give me 1.5 with Chicago, yeah. So nothing for me in this one. I'm going to pass.
I faded Miguel in his last start because he had 4 bad outings in a row. A lot of walks, a lot of hits, a lot of runs. And then the day I faded him, he went 4 2/3. I think he had allowed 1 hit through the first 4, no runs, and struck out 10 guys. He was really big. It was one of those games that I probably should have won. The Red Sox had the bases loaded against the Mets in that one. But baseball's streaky, pitchers are streaky. Maybe Miguel found something. Maybe he changed a grip. Maybe he found something that gave him a little bit more movement on the fastball. When you see a guy strike out 10 and only walk 1, he found something. So maybe he's back, and this would be a definite team that he could dominate today. So maybe look at some Miguel props, maybe another strikeout prop. Maybe he gets those strikeouts up again.
Be a good lineup to start. The good lineup to get those strikeout props up, as we know. White Sox. Again, the White Sox were historically bad last year. That the 20 games under 500 this early into the season doesn't seem as awful. They're just a normal worst team in baseball, and they're not even the worst team in baseball because the Rockies are well on their way to historic ineptitude this year. All right, we go to KC next. Reds and Royals. Brady Singer makes his return to Kansas City. Of course, was traded to Cincinnati in the offseason. Daniel Lynch will go for KC. Reds yesterday, a 7-4 win at Kauffman. Minus 15 on the Royals. Total of 8 in this one in Middle America.
Yesterday, I stayed off of that total. Really liked the over. Got there. Reds won 7-4 in that one. I'm kind of leaning the same way here, even though I like both pitchers. Of course, Lynch only a second start of the year, so he's going to be more of an opener, which I think just helps with getting runs here in this one between these two. Both lineups hitting well, so it would only be a play on the over.
We know Daniel Lynch is, basically an opener here. He has made 1 start, went 1 2/3, so they're going to go with the bullpen. Brady Singer, former first rounder by the Kansas City Royals, back against his old organization where he's used to pitching. I didn't bump his rating. I should have bumped it more. I still made him $1.14 without the bump. I'm going to go with Singer in the first 5 to get the lead here against his old team.
It worked with Hauser yesterday through a very good game against the Mets.
Oh, Adrian Hauser hasn't given up a run in 2 starts in Chicago. Boy, that's the perfect type of thing for the White Sox. You find a guy that you get for nothing, you might be able to get an asset for him at the trade deadline. Absolutely perfect. And Hauser, who's gone 2 starts now without giving up a run. He shut out Seattle last week as well. All right, we go to Milwaukee next. Aaron Savali's going to go for the Brewers against the Red Sox. Minus 120 in this game on Milwaukee. Plus 105 on the Sox, total 8.5. I just wonder for the Red Sox, since it looks like Alex Bregman's going to be out for a long while with that injury he suffered on Sunday. I just wonder if this spirals out of control for the Sox here without the guy who's been their best player so far this year. Not touching anything today. That was just more of a macro statement more so than anything for me.
Well, and with both of these pitchers going, they can't really do much here. Aaron Savali only his 3rd start of the year, so want to see how he does. We want a little bit more sample size. It is his first start at home. Started off against the Yankees and then Pittsburgh. Didn't go more than 4 innings in either of those starts. And then on the other side, Criswell, it's his first time being up since May 8th. Kind of just getting into that 6-man rotation here now, though. So nothing for me. This was a stay away.
I'm going to go under for the game. Because of, I don't know, lineup wise, just don't think they're the greatest of lineups right now. Roof will be closed. Weather's not the greatest there in Milwaukee, 60 degrees. So that helps me out a little bit. I do like both guys. Both these guys, well, I don't have great ratings on them, so I shouldn't really say that because I lower ratings because of they haven't thrown a lot of innings, but Criswell, as you mentioned, was sent back to AAA. I think him getting a shot once again, called up by the Red Sox, you're going to see a little bit different guy this time around. So I'm under. I'm just sticking with the process. Small play for me, under 8.5.
One last one in baseball here today. Mitchell Parker against Evans up in the Pacific Northwest. Mariners minus 55, total of 8. First 5 under in this one. Even with not loving Evans, it's 4.5. You can get 4.5 plus 105 under. The only way I look, just take advantage of the ballpark. And if they beat the ballpark, so be it.
Mitchell Parker gets kind of a bad rap here. What do you think of him? What do you have him rated?
Pretty decent, little above average on the road. Their bullpen's just bad.
That's right.
Avoid the bullpen, right?
Yeah.
Avoid the bullpen.
Parker
Go
really. It's 2 bad starts for Parker to really wrecked the ERA more so than anything. I'm gonna go first 5 under. That ballpark, it's 4.5. It's hard to pass up, even with not loving Evans on the Seattle side.
I had found nothing in this one. I thought Seattle minus 140 was a pretty good price here. Now it's been bet up, and I can see that is the only way I would want to play this.
Boy, looking at Parker's game log, that scares me though, Jeff. He's allowed 6, 5, 4, 4, and 3 earned runs. He's gotten better. It's going down, the earned runs, but he's only gotten past the 5th one time. That was the last outing. He went 5 1/3. 3 of the 4 starts, he was knocked out in the 4th. That scares me a little bit. Is there something wrong with him? He's not telling anybody. That does happen. He is a young guy at 25, so
I'm more
just inconsistencies right now, and maybe who he faced: Atlanta twice, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and the Mets. So he did face some decent lineups over that time, but it scares me a little bit not knowing where Mitchell Parker is right now.
All right, that's a baseball card. We'll take a quick break. Whiteboards, trivia question, and we look what's coming in 100 days from right now. Eagles, Cowboys, opening NFL season. We'll discuss it next. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust: footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White. The whiteboards are on their way. Quick thoughts on the opener in the NFL season on the way as well. But first, trivia question of the day, and it was football naturally, 100 days until the NFL season kicks off. Question is, which all-around athlete and 8-time NFL champion announced their retirement from coaching on this date in 1968? Ryan McCormick knew the answer, because the one and only George Halas was the correct answer there. Of course, the owner, founder of the Chicago Bears, also played for the New York Yankees in Major League Baseball in 1919. Of course, also founded one of the first professional basketball teams, predated the NBA as well. But Halas, of course, Halas Hall still there in suburban Chicago. And JR got it right. So JR continues his big month. It's been JR and Nick and Dean Hilt this month. That's been the collection for trivia, but of course, George Halas, your answer. All right. Speaking of the National Football League, guys, we are 100 days until the NFL season, and of course, I have to mention, because we're contractually obligated to mention this, the $25,000 jackpot card is available now. 15 picks, 14 games, one total, $5, as many cards as you want, up at the South Point, here at the South Point, up at the Rampart. Just make sure you get them in before kickoff on September 7th. And by before kickoff on September 7th, I mean, don't come in at 9:35 a.m. on September 7th trying to bet 30 of these. Get them in early. Get them in early. Last year, the pot exceeded $25,000. And even if somehow it doesn't get to as many entries to hit 25K, it's guaranteed. It's going to be 25,000 minimum. But get your tickets in, get them in often and early for the NFL jackpot card.
And of course, it's winner takes all. So if only one person has a perfect card,
that's a good day at the office,
it's
Alex.
a very good day. But if 10 have one and that's the best, then they split it.
Yep.
So still have a shot.
Yeah, there have been plenty of chops in this in the past. So if you lose one early, don't throw away your card. 14-1 might be good enough to get home at least with some sort of money, or 15-0, and you don't even have to worry about getting some sort of money. Even though I will say, if there's multiple 15-0s, Alex, that means it could be a lot of chalk, like it was a year ago in this parlay card. All right, opener, real quick, guys. Let's do some number checks and go from there, because the number here at the South Point has not moved since Chris and Company opened it last week. Dallas, Philadelphia. It's been a long time since these teams played in week one. If it was Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid and David Akers the last time that the Eagles and the Cowboys played in week one, and that was also at the old Texas Stadium. So we're dating ourselves here, over 20 years ago now. But the defending champion Eagles are a touchdown. The total is 46.5. I'll just say, with this offseason from Philly, it was hard to, with the way their cap situation was, it was hard to keep the whole band together after winning their second title in the last almost decade now. But offensively speaking, pretty well intact.
Yeah.
Defensively speaking, not quite as well intact. Obviously, you lose some key pieces in that secondary, including Darius Slay, their best corner. Dallas has had a very bizarre offseason, as it usually is with the Cowboys. Of course, you fire Mike McCarthy and you just hire Brian Schottenheimer. Very strange. All I'll say, though, guys, I don't love laying a lot of points in week one. Everyone's a little bit sluggish. Sirianni, it would be a shock if he plays his guys at all in the preseason as well. So it's just one of those, got to keep all this stuff in mind. granted, I don't think this number is moving anytime soon. It would have moved off the key number of 7 one way or another if it was going to move with it being out for some shots about a month. Now here at the South Point about a week.
I mean, Jeff makes some really good points here. You have the defending champions, who was just a well-constructed team there. No Bradbury, no Slate, but I think that those guys we can get other secondaries in there that could do a great job offensively, still have most of them. And then on the other side, Dak Prescott coming back from injury. We don't really know what we're going to get from him. They add George Pickens, so a little bit more weapons for him. And of course, Javonte Williams at the running back position, which they have struggled with. But they did draft well for the offensive line, so we'll see if that can help get their run game going. 7 points just feels like a lot in week 1, really with any team. And like he also said, it's a key number here. But way too early to actually make an official play. But yeah, I'm leaning to the points.
And of course, Kenny, George Pickens in Dallas now as well. So again, an erratic player, to say the very least, but when he is right, it showed glimpses of being a legitimate number 1 alongside CeeDee Lamb. Alex went through that whole running back room is completely different, as Alex just said, with Sanders and Javonte Williams, and then the young guns and Vaughn and Blue and Maffa. Totally new look running back room in Dallas. And of course, they did draft Tyler Booker with their first round pick to fortify the right guard position where Zach Martin retired this offseason.
I didn't really go through a ton of stuff on this because, I do individual player power ratings for every player to get a team rating. So haven't started that process yet. So what I did, though, is I always like to tell people, I think power ratings are the way to go. And to come up with a power rating, it's really simple to do without knowing anything. If you think the books put up a good number, and I took the win total chart from the books here at South Point's win total. Dallas 7.5 wins. That means they're going to win 44% of their games. That means they're going to lose by on average 2.5 points per game. I start with 100 as an average rating. So you take 2.5 off 100. I got Dallas a 97.5. Philadelphia 11.5 wins. That's 68% winner. 68% winners win by 6 points, average of 6 points. So I made them a 106. I think the game should be 8.5 with no home. I could add 2.5 for the home, make it 11. But there's a huge revenge factor in this game. Philadelphia beat Dallas last year by a combined 75-13.
That's competitive.
Dallas they've got it written all over everywhere. The final scores of those two games, I think it was 34-6 and 41-7. They got destroyed, embarrassed in both games last year. So you got to add the revenge factor in. So my number making that comes out to 8. Made the game 8. That's where I think it's
pretty darn close.
And I think that Philadelphia is going to get some money. I think, who's going to bet Dallas? You're going to
Cowboy fans.
You're going to bet the Eagles. I don't know if they trust the Cowboys to bet any
Kenny,
money on the game.
Kenny, the blind optimism of fandom in week
True.
1.
True.
There's nothing more blind optimistic than NFL fans in week 1, even if they had no. Even Browns fans will be. Well, actually, I don't know if they'll be optimistic, but
they are.
I will tell you though. Philadelphia in teasers will be utilized a ton from 7 to 1 or 7 to a half. There'll be money line parlays as well. There are, in comparison to last year, there were a lot of good traditional teaser legs that didn't really exist last year. Chargers to 8.5. We'll talk about that game later this week. Some books have the Jets as 2.5 point underdogs, up to 8.5 as a home dog in week 1 against Pittsburgh. Book depended on Miami and Indianapolis. You could go either way, depending on some of the books. Some have Indy as a 1.5 point favorite. Some has Miami as a 1.5 point favorite. By the way, the South Point has it as a pick'em. So there, Washington 6.5 point favorite. There are a lot. I'm just throwing this out there, and I'm not saying do anything right now or anything, but there are, especially in comparison to last year, there are a lot of teaser legs that make a lot of sense. Atlanta, well. We know our history with Atlanta, Alex. But Atlanta's a home dog, and you can get them up to 8. So there are a lot. Denver right there on your screen, down to 1.5. There are a lot of teaser legs here in week 1. Now, granted, week 1 is the hardest week of the year for obvious reasons. We don't have enough data, but there are a lot of traditional teaser legs here in week 1. There's another one with Seattle up to 7.5 at home.
I do just want to make one point about that first game and about that wide receiver that Dallas got.
Yep.
Because if people are interested in a good wide receiver that they could probably get a little bit later for fantasy football, I think that George Pickens would be a great pick. I didn't have your player power ratings. I had Grandpa's. I always make a spreadsheet before I do my drafting. His 4 top wide receivers going into last year were Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and George Pickens, and they were all the same rating by, 0.1 better than the next one, which McLaurin is right there next. So I did draft him for somebody, didn't have the right quarterback. Now with Dak Prescott, I think that might be a sneaky wide receiver that people could grab.
It could be. Prescott injured his hamstring last year, late in the season, had surgery.
Yes.
He's going to be back 100% healthier. Jeff talked about, week 1, there's so much uncertainty. There's 3 preseason games.
No one plays in them either.
If the Eagles don't play one starter in 3 preseason games and Dallas Cowboys play their number 1 offense in week 2 for a quarter and then week 3 for a half, Dallas will kill them. They'll kill them because they've been on the field. They won the game badly. Philadelphia, hey, we got the ring. We're the champs. We're getting our rings. Now, those teams do usually do well in that game because they're always good teams. But Dak Prescott, before last year, the 3 previous seasons, his record as a starting quarterback, 31-14. And now he's coming off an injury season. This guy knows how to win, and they've made some adjustments. They picked up some players. To me, to see a Cowboy number at 7.5, I mean, I'm a guy that would rather fade them at 10.5, but when I see 7.5, I think that they could step up this year.
It'll be interesting to see. Again, we don't have data on Brian Schottenheimer preseason, how he handles the preseason.
True.
Cowboy, been a long time since the Cowboys have had a win total this low as 7.5. It's been a while. Still talent there. We know that. It's just, again, a tougher schedule for Dallas and 2 teams in the NFC East that are clearly built better at the moment, which even when Dallas was right, there was always, all right, at worst, they're going to be the second best team in this division. Washington has jumped them for sure, even though I still have commander questions on their defense, which we'll get to as we go through the NFL through the summer. All right. Ready for whiteboards here, guys?
Yeah.
Ready for whiteboards here on a Tuesday morning. And we will begin in a moment here once Ryan sends it across the screen. And we'll begin with Alex White here on a Tuesday.
Okay, I'm starting off with the 4 baseball plays, 2 unders, and 2 favorites here. I like the Blue Jays and the Rangers. Under first 5, 4.5. I like the Astros. I'm going to lay the half a run here at -145. Dodgers, -130. Money line, first 5. And then Giants and Tigers, we're going under 4. -125, first 5. That's my favorite play of the day right there. I had to add one where I can actually root for some scoring here. So let's go Stars and Oilers now that it is down to 6. I did make this about 6.3. So that is a play on the over in the NHL game.
The NHL game, Edmonton at home, that total's down to 6. So over 6 is definitely going to be on my board there today. NBA, Pacers -2. I know a lot of people are going to probably back the Knicks and hopefully they can get another win, but I just think the Pacers are a better team playing at home. Major League Baseball, I'm all first 5 innings. I left it off the Reds game, but these first 5 inning bets, Blue Jays, Rangers under 4.5. That's a Valde going, and the Rangers are not swinging it. A's and Astros under 4. Love the pitching matchup. Hunter Brown and JP Sears. Dodgers -30 in the first 5 today. Orioles -115 to keep it going in the first 5. And then the Reds with Brady Singer on the mound against his old team, -110. WNBA, Sparks -2 tonight against Atlanta.
Here we go. Loaded cards here on a Tuesday for Kenny and Alex. Again, over in the Sparks game is my favorite. And I am going to tail Kenny on the Sparks in general. Over in L.A. Feels like a good combination here tonight. All right. That's all we got. Kenny, Alex, good work. We'll see you all tomorrow. We'll have more football talk as well later in the week. We'll also on Thursday to be looking forward to it. It's a small baseball card. It's only 4 games. So We'll have NFL talk on Thursday. We'll also go through our monthly check-in with the MLB awards on Thursday as well. So we'll be looking forward to that tomorrow on the show. You got hockey, you got basketball, got a full card of baseball. We'll break all that down on the show tomorrow. Vince, Ryan, small crew here today. So thank you guys for getting us on the stream. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you chat along with us every day as well. Kenny, Alex, Jeff, we'll see you again tomorrow. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.